Reports are the face of a company to the outside world. What is yours saying? Hello, everybody, and nice to see you for a talk about Report Editor in Odoo 18. We are Charlotte and Rosalie. We are business analysts at Odoo, and we are in the studio expertise. So today we will see how we can maximize the use of the studio editor in Odoo 18. We'll have a Q&A session at the end with our product owners, so don't hesitate to scan our QR code so that you can already ask a question during the talk. These will come back after, don't worry. All right, so before jumping into Odoo, we will kind of explain to you the history of the report editor to explain and show how we have arrived to this Odoo 18 version of our studio report editor.
Thank you, Rosalie. So let's dive into the history of the report editor to understand what leads us to this improved new editor. Do you remember the drag and drop tool in version before Odoo 16.4? It had a lot of features, but also quite some limitations. First, this tool was not really flexible. Indeed, you could not place your text and field wherever you wanted. You were also limited in terms of design aspect. For example, you could not add a checklist, and you were also not able to add any table. From a technical point of view, it was not the best tool. Odoo had multiple editor systems to maintain, such as the one for report, the one for website and mass mailing, the HTML one that you can observe with the task, if it's the slash, is in task description and in the knowledge application, for example, and even others one, such as Jinja for the email template, the path for project, etc., etc. So we can all agree it represents a technical inefficiency, which means that an editor will not benefit from any improvement done in another one. Moreover, that report editor generated multiple studio views for the same report, which can also be translated into a maintenance issue. So tackling those flexibility and technical limitation led us to a new report editor in Odoo 17. In that version, Odoo tends to use less system editor and bases everything on the HTML1. It allows you to use a brand new tool, the command palette. As you can see, it's really user-friendly and provides you new cool features such as adding any type of field, media, table, a link with ChatGPT, etc. In addition to the command palette, it's also super user-friendly to format and structure a text, and all your modifications are now gathered in one single studio view. As you have probably noticed, you can see the full PDF with all its fields, conditional or not. On that way, you have a better overview of your PDF to manage the structure of the report. Another advantage is to go into the source code to look for a record, and you have also access to a search bar to look for a specific record and check to what it will look like. But as always, it's not possible to do perfect in one shot. Having one single studio view that replaces the full codes disable you to benefit from update, and some feature has been lost. For example, selecting a widget, applying a visibility condition, or modifying a table that contains condition.
So as a gatherer, our goal is always to keep improving the report editor. And that's how we arrived to Odoo 18 report editor. So as Charlotte mentioned, we used to have a lot of system editor in our database. So like mass mailing, email template, and so on. And we are on the first version where these system editor are all running on the HTML1. So we're actually having one core for all the database across, all the applications, across the database. And then we have small plugins for application where they need something extra. For example, the field tool, well, it's not usable everywhere. So you cannot only use it for email templates of report. It will be kind of useless for the task description, right? So these plugins are really interesting. And it allow us to have a source code that is better, and it will also allow for faster and better feature in the future. Also, maintenance-wise, as we only have one system to maintain, we can actually be sure that it will be better. That's the first technical. Then we have the XPath at our back. Why is that nice? It's because we can go back to target specific element to modify these. Then it allows us for standard report to keep these updates that would be there and still, be able to use Studio correctly. From a functional point of view, we have a better visibility about the visibility condition. It means that we can see for which field we have a visibility condition, and we can make sure that we are setting our field on the correct place. Then we have the tables. It was kind of hard to add any columns without going into the XML if there was a visibility condition on it. So now we can add column to any table, visibility condition or not. So for example, if you go on the sale order PDF, now you can add a column on the sale order line. Same for delivery slip, you can now add on the stock move some new column. It's also for the table super easy to adapt the column size. You can just drag and drop it. And finally, for all the image field that we are adding, we don't need to add the image widget anymore. It's directly added, so way more efficient. Of course, we are still looking in the future. So the goal is to get all of the previous feature back and to still, do some amazing new feature while remaining really user-friendly. But enough of the future, and let's jump into Odoo.
Thank you, Rosalie. Indeed, you have now launched your own company for organized tour. Can you tell us a bit more about this?
Yeah, so 2 years ago, I launched Odyssey Excursion. We are a company where we have customers that book trips through us, and then we organize with local guide tour so that they can take over. So currently, we are using the event application inside of Odoo. Let's show you how it looks like. So I'm going to take these trips. So what's really nice is that we can see the trip name, so that we know what it is, of course. We can have the start and end date of our tour. Then we have the time zone, the language, but also what kind of trip it is. Here we can see that we have culture, and we are going to go like island hopping. Then we have some information about the trip in itself. We also have the local guide tour name so that we know who it is, and also where the hotel will be. Then we have the ticket. The ticket is a quite nice way for us to know what type of customer we have. Are they all inclusive of half board? Not only that, from the event, we then have our attendees, so the customer that are going to come to the trip. Here we can see that directly from here, I can see the name of my attendees and, for example, their ticket type. If I go in an attendee, I can already see also the question answer. So for example, I ask them what type of allergy they have and if they have diet restriction, because it's really important for their health. So currently, I have to do manually a document for my local guide tour to give them information about the trips and the attendees. As you can imagine, it takes quite a long time. So I was thinking, is that something that we could do with Studio?
Yes, of course. Let's jump into Studio directly to the event to be sure we are on the right model. Then I go on the report section to create a new one from scratch. But first, you have to choose if you want to keep the same header and footer as your other report with your logo, tagline, etc. as you configure in your general setting, or if you prefer to only have a header with the current date and time and your company name, or if you prefer to start without an header nor a footer.
I think I'm gonna keep the header and footer. It looks more professional.
Okay, so I will just select the external one, and as you can see, your header and your footer are already there. But before editing it, I recommend you to rename the report so that it's easier for you to select the one to print from the form. Or do you want to name it?
Let's call it guide report.
Okay.
Maybe before we start, I actually don't really like my header and footer. They're a bit too plain for my company. Could we change that quickly?
Yes, as I said, the layout has to be configured in your general setting. So let's close Studio, go in your setting to configure your document layout. And let me show you our three new beautiful layouts, the bubble one, the wave one, and the folder. And I think you will really like the wave one for your travel.
Yeah, I love it. I already feel at the beach.
And then you can configure your font, your logo, color, even the paper format that will be used by default for all your report in Odoo. Is it okay for you like this?
Yeah, the rest of the information are good.
Okay, so now that the layout is okay, let's close it and come back to the new report. What did you have in mind?
Well, first, I was thinking about adding a title, just the name of the trip.
Okay, so you have two options. You can either insert your field and format it afterward, or you can directly format it with a small, medium, or big section. Let's try the heading one first. Then I insert the field by looking for the name. In your case, as you shown before, is the display name. I press on enter and the field name appears. As I said, it's really easy to format it afterward by selecting it. You can make it bold, change the color, highlight it, etc. Do you want to try something?
Yeah, let's try add a one, display 3.
Okay.
I like it. Let's keep that. All right, then after I want to add some travel information, but that's a field that I added with Studio. Is that going to be a problem?
No, any field can be added with the command palette, so I just need to type my slash. I obtain the series of features, then I insert the field. Even if it's a Studio one, don't worry. I can look for your travel info. It's here. And before adding it, I can type a default text that will appear if the field is not filled on the record. Do you have a specific text to display in that case?
Yeah, we can add amazing trim to come.
All
Trim to
right.
come.
Then the default text appears, otherwise it will be the field name as for the title above. I propose to go to the preview to check your event. Here it's a good example of the default text.
Nice, that's amazing. All right, then maybe after that travel info, I want to add some more information about this trip.
What are those?
Well, I want to add the start and end date, then of course the local guide, the venue and the language. But I want this to be organized, not just randomly added.
Okay, let me show you two propositions. First, I'm thinking about inserting a table, so you can call the command palette, and since your pieces of information is not a dynamic table, so I will insert a table with 4 columns and 1 row. Then in each cell, I can insert the field with the slash, and as you can see, I can combine multiple fields and some text in one cell. To switch to another cell, I can use my tab. And to obtain the venue address, I can look for the venue. Then I use my right arrow to have access to all its related fields, and I can look for the address. Sorry, it was not the address type. It's the complete address. And as you can see, it's really easy and fast to build a table. And when I save it, you can easily see the path. For example, here I can quickly observe that the complete address comes from the venue. Then my second proposition is to use columns. So you have also a specific feature for that. I can look for columns. In your case, you need 4 columns. And I will follow the same process to add all your fields. As for the tables, it's also really quick and easy to add the field and build a column. And I'm sure that I can do it even faster if I was not doing a talk, but let's do it. I had the language.
All right, can I see what it would look like for a specific record?
Yes, of course, we can use the search bar in the preview. Which one do you want to check?
Maybe the trim to Martinique. I'm doing that soon with customers, so I want to see what it would look like.
All right.
All right, that's amazing.
Which one do you prefer?
I don't know, I actually like both. What do you guys prefer? You like the first or second option better? The first option is better, right? So let's keep the table and remove the column.
Easy PC. There is a specific feature for that. I can just call the remove columns feature. You obtain only one column, and I can easily select the field to delete them.
Okay, that's good. But actually, about the table, I think I would like the start date and end date to be the last column, and the language is not that useful, so we can just remove that.
Don't worry, it's really easy to modify a table. I can just select the columns, move it to the right or to the left, and even delete it. What do you think?
Yeah, it's look way better. Okay, now I think I want to add information about my attendees. Is that possible?
Yes, now we will call the dynamic table to insert the field related to your attendees. But be careful, be aware that dynamic tables are only suitable with field of type many to many and one to many. So then I can add a default text that will be the name of the header. Let's type attendee. Then I can insert the field. We are now calling for the attendees field and not the one from event.
Okay, nice. Then I think I want to add who booked this trip so that we can know who is traveling together.
Do you want it before or after the attendee's name?
I think I want it first. This way it's easier to see who is traveling.
Okay, so I can just insert a column on the left, add the header, and insert the field.
Okay. And as I mentioned, I'm using the ticket to know what type of customer I have. Are they full-time or just, half board? I think I want that after the attendees.
All right, as you can see, it's really easy to add a column. I insert the field, and that's it.
All right, thank you. As we saw, I also asked some question about the diet, and it's super important, right? Because it's about the health. So yeah, is that something that we can add in the table?
Yes, since it's a many-to-many field, I have to call a new dynamic table. But don't worry, you can insert a dynamic table inside a dynamic table. It's really nice. Let me show you. We can just insert a new column, change the header, and insert the dynamic table. But be careful because I have to save the report before adding the field, otherwise you will still calling for the fields from Heaven. So let's save it, and then I can insert your question and your answer.
All right. Can we see what it would look like?
Yes, let's go in the preview.
Okay, it looks really nice, but this column name is looking kind of weird. Can we remove that?
Yes, as for the column, you can just select the row and delete it.
Okay, that's super nice.
What do you think?
Yeah, it's looked really good. But the additional info is super important, right? So I would like this column to be a bit bigger than the rest. Is that possible?
Yes, of course, we can just select it and play with this width. It's really easy and fast to adapt a table.
Okay, great. Well, now it's nice because I can see all of my attendees that are coming, but I think it would be nice to also know how many attendees are coming. So above this dynamic table, I think I would like to see how many people are coming, but I want to, make it visible for the local guide.
If you want to emphasize on it, I recommend you to use these nice features, the banners. As you can see, you have multiple ones, so let's try the success one and the info one, maybe, yes. Which one do you prefer?
I like the green one. It kind of emphasizes the fact that I'm orphan, so let's keep that.
Okay, so I delete the other one, I go inside and I can type a text. And I can also use the command palette, for example, here to insert a field, to insert your number of attendees.
Okay, but I don't really like that check. It doesn't really feel vacationy. Can we change that?
Yes, you can just click on it and then you have access to a series of nice emojis.
Yeah. Let's go with the palm tree. It reminds me of my logo. I like it.
Yes, and that's not all. You can also add it wherever you want it with the emoji feature of the command palettes. For example, here. What do you think? Do you want to keep it?
Yeah, let's keep it. Palm tree for life.
It's beautiful.
Yeah. And it kind of reminds me actually that I'm doing multiple trips with the same local guide, and they are quite different because sometimes it's more cultural, sometimes it's more about sports. So it's interesting for the local guide to know that. I'm actually using the tag field to set that. Could we add that after the amazing trip to come?
Yes, but since it's a many-to-many field, you will need to add a dynamic table, and I think that it won't be really beautiful with the rest of the report.
Right.
So I will show you a little workaround that consists of adding a random field, and then I will switch into the QA view to change the technical name and add the widget. Let me show you. You can just type something, and then I add a random field. And I go into the source code, into the QF view. We can easily find our modification. And then I change the technical name and add the widget tags. And to make it cleaner, I propose you to click on the format and add a visibility condition on the paragraph so that the type of travel will only appear if you have some tag on this event.
Yes.
I can do this with a if on the tag IDs field. You can look here, there is some tags. Not here, so you don't have the text.
That's amazing. All right, so I think I'm good here with that, but I also actually often add a checklist to this local guide. It's a checklist of everything they're going to be responsible for, and I'm actually currently using a knowledge article to just copy paste it every time and send it to them.
And would you prefer to have it with the link of the article, because there is a specific command to insert your shortcode?
Mm,
Or maybe you prefer to have it as a text directly?
I think a text is better. This way they cannot say that they didn't see it.
Okay, so I will just close Studio to go on an event and retrieve your article. Is it this one?
Yeah, exactly.
And since the copy paste keeps the format, we can use the clipboard, go back into the report, and then I can copy paste it. We can copy paste it directly here, or I can also insert it in a banner. It could be
Nice.
beautiful. But don't forget that you can also insert a checklist directly with the command palette as you prefer.
Okay, perfect. Thanks. Okay, I actually like it, but it's still missing something. So I think I want to add some colors. Is that possible to add some colors in the static table, like the background?
Yes, you can easily do it by selecting your row or your columns and highlight it with a basic color or a custom one based on the palette or a custom code. And you can also play with some gradient color.
Okay, I think I'm actually going to go with a custom color, and I would like to have the gray for my logo. Do you know the color code for that?
I don't know it, but we can retrieve it from your document layout in the settings. Let's go on it. The gray. You can see different code. I will use the hashtag one, and I will insert the code. So I just highlight it and put your code here. And automatically the gray appears so that you are sure that it's the exact same color.
Okay, it looks really good. So I think I'm kind of done with that report, but it would be relevant to say that I'm going to use an IoT box. So I want to be able to print it, but I also want to be able to download it on my computer. Do you have a way to be able to do that?
Yes, we can do that through the report action. So you can access it directly from the editor um, with the More button, but don't worry to activate your developer mode for that. Or you can directly go to your technical menu, Report Action. So here I will use the More button, and I can duplicate it so that you have one to download and one to print. But before duplicating it, let's check the configuration. Here I can see there is no printed report name. Do you want to personalize it with some dynamic fields such as the event name and so on?
Yeah, let's call that guide report, and then I think I want the trip name so that I know what it is about, and then the organizer name. Is that possible?
Yes, you have two options to do that, so let's check both. But keep in mind that if you let it empty, it will just take the action names here, the guide report. So the first option is to put your static text into quote, and then I had the dynamic field with a plus and the technical name between brackets. Let's do it together. I will just type guide report into quote, then a plus, and then the technical name into bracket, then again a plus, and to make it cleaner, I will just add an hyphen into quote since it's a static text, and then again a plus, and the technical name of the organizer um, into bracket. Don't forget to call the name, otherwise it will call the ID.
Yeah, I think the name is better. And you mentioned that there is a second way to do that?
Yes, in my opinion, the second option is a little bit cleaner. Here we will put everything, all the structure into the quote, and call for field with a percentage symbol and a S. So here I will just keep the quote and indicate that I want a field with a percentage symbol and a S. I will also add the hyphen, and after the quote, I will again put a percentage symbol and I can indicate my dynamic field with the technical name between brackets, separated by a comma. And in my opinion, this option is a little bit clearer because we can clearly see the structure, anticipate the structure of the name here into quotes.
That's nice.
Yes, indeed, it's really nice to know. And we can continue the configuration with the paper format. Do you want to have an A3, A4, or have a custom dimension?
But actually here, I didn't put any paper format there. So what paper format would have be used? Do I have to do that every time? Said that?
No, of course not. Don't worry, if there is no paper format on the action, it will just take the default one we put on the layout, on the setting.
All right. So for the one that I'm going to print, I am going to do that in A3. That's just the format of my printer.
Mhm. So let's keep this action, this print action for the printer. So I will add your device and the A3 format. And I also recommend you to add the name of the device on the action name so that it's easier for you to select the one you want to print from the form. So we can keep it like this.
Okay, and speaking about actually printing it, I'm actually the only one that's printing that, and I don't really need so my employee to see that. Is that something that we could do so that they don't see
Yes.
it?
Of course, we can do that through the visibility field here. And since you are the only one to be the event administrator, I suggest you to add this group here so that only the user of that group can see those action.
Nice.
Um, I suggest to go directly on an event to check what we have talked about.
And what about the one that I want just to be able to download?
Oh yes, sorry, I forgot to duplicate it. So I can come back on the report action, duplicate it, and now I will, of course, delete the device. And which format do you want for this one?
I want the regular A4.
Okay, so I will just keep it empty. You don't need to put it. And I change the action name. And now let's check an event.
Yeah, perfect.
Here I can see the new the two new print actions
Okay,
that only you will be able to see and not the other employee.
that's really nice. Well, I think now that my report is done, I don't really need to do any more change to that. But I would like to do some change on my sale order PDF. Is that something that we can do now?
Yes, let's go into the sales application to be on the right model and open Studio to modify the existing quotation and order report. What do you have in mind?
Well, I was thinking about adding the image of the event on the sale order line. It would be more personalized this way.
Yes, we can add a column, but before I would like to emphasize the fact that it's super convenient to check on which condition you are making the modification. For example, here we are on the on lines with product without comma and no display type, but you can also modify the section and the note. And you can also check the visibility condition on other fields, such as the columns above. Here, for example, the quotation date will only be displayed if it's set on the record. So now that we are on the good part, let's just add columns, change the header, and add the field. Here, to display the event image, I will need to call the event, have access to all its related fields with my right arrow, and then is the badge background field. I add it, and I don't need to select any widget. It's automatically done for your image. Let's check them in the preview, and we can quickly see our modification here because you don't have a full um, view that replaces the full code. So it's better to track all your modification while benefiting from the update.
All right, it's really cool. But as you can see, I'm actually also using the section, and you mentioned that we can modify the section, right?
Yes, of course, the section and note.
All right, well, I think I want to make it pop a little bit more. I think I want to have it bold and in orange.
Okay, so let's go on the section part. Then I can click on it, or selecting it maybe.
The visibility condition is too fast. We can just adapt the node to something.
Yes, but once you selecting it, you can just easily make it bold and change the color in orange, for example. We will do it for the header in your case, if it's possible.
Okay, put it in purple or something. Okay, well,
Mm,
it's
well,
good to know that it's
yes,
possible.
we will try after.
Okay. And then I also want to modify my footer. So I know that I could just, add it in my document layout, but in my footer I would like to have the link to my website. But I want it to be displayed after the page. Can we do that?
Yes, no, you can modify your header and footer directly in the report editor. So here, for example, I can insert the link of the website, but keep in mind that it will modify all your reports and not only the footer or of the sale order report. Indeed, if, for example, we had the reference in the footer, it will generate you an error if you want to generate a report in the event model, since it's not a field from that model.
Okay,
But
that's good to
here,
know. I didn't
yes.
know that modifying that would be so tricky.
Yes, so now it's modified. And another thing that is good to know is by going into the source code, you have directly access to a button to manage your translation of the static text. For example, here I can put photo for the image for French customers. For example, this customer speak French, not the other one.
Okay, that's cool.
And from here, you have also access to another button to check the history of all your version. And you can also do a soft reset to restore a previous version, or a hard reset to reset the initial version, and even reset to another view. And be aware that you can also directly make a hard reset from the editor, here, reset report, by including or not the header and the footer.
Okay, that's super convenient. Well, thank you, Charlotte. I think that's my report. I've never looked so good, and I'm so excited now to book new customers.
You're welcome. It was all thanks to the new report editor.
So, as we mentioned, there is a lot of things that we can do with the report editor. So, as you've seen, it's really easy to use it. We can do everything directly with the report editor without going into the XML at all. We can do easy formatting, either from dynamic or static text. we have now really a free use of table where we can add the column and we can also change the size. So there is giving us a lot of flexibility. For the image, we can now add them and have directly it without having to add the widgets. And of course, we have all of the regular tools like banner checklist, which allow us to really make the report ours. So thank you for your attention, and we will now ask our product owner to come with us to here so that we can check out all of your questions. If he's coming. Okay, let's jump into the pad. Up. Okay. Okay, so our product owner is there, but if he has an answer, will just tell us.
Okay.
All right. So let's start. Every page drag and drop. Yes, indeed. Good point. Can you add margin again on blocks in the only via XML? So here, I guess that you want to add margin like right and like left and right. It's not something that you can just do on the blocks itself, but you can add like space before and after. And if it's like really on the paper, like more for the page, you can go on the paper format and adapt it as you wish. What's the difference between table and dynamic ones? Well, dynamic tables are for one-to-many and many-to-many. So basically how we did it for the attendees, it's something for which you have multiple records on one. So let's just see on the event what it would mean. So because I don't have only one attendee, so I don't only have one attendees, I have multiple one, right? So I want the table to go through each attendee and get that information on my dynamic table. So to do that, I need to do this because it's going to do a loop on every attendees that I have and take the information of that attendees directly. That table, well, as the name says, it's like a static table, so it will only get the information once. So for example, we had the start date and the end date when there's only one on our record, so on our attendee. And so this will not be an issue. So a dynamic table is when we have to go through multiple records and get the information of that record. Table is just display way to get information and put there. So here we use fields, but we could also use just random text or whatever on it. Can I raise a report and contact module with a modification test with layout like cell order to have a... If the question is if you can have the header and the footer, yes, you can. So we will have that things. If it's about the address, this can also be added either with adding the the contact and all of its information, so you can really do it the way that you want, if that was the things. Yes, reports can be created. Can we adapt the information block? Yeah, currently that's not possible, but that's something that will soon come. So that's the plan, to be able to do that. So the information block is the contact information that you have. So referring to the question above, that was kind of that, I think. You'll be able to... Yeah, currently only via XML. Can you add CSS file? I think, no, you cannot. Perfect. Will it be possible to manage personalized paper for night-like labels from actual devices? Yeah, so you can already do that personalized paper formats. So it's a menu that's in the technical menu, so you need to be in debug mode, developer mode, and you have these paper formats for which you can do A4. But here you can see that the paper size is something that already exists, but if you click on it, you can go all the way down, and then you have custom, and there you can really create your own format. So for labels, you can say, like, if it's a demo table, you can, labels, you can really choose what you want to have. Where are we? Are there filters for the image, like on the website, more complex? I think the filters, you mean like the shape, if that's what you mean. Currently, it's not something that we are planning on doing. Uh, but we can check that out. Where do you add the report to the quotation? Here we are not adding anything to the quotation, so if you want to add some specific stuff to the quotation, you can just do that. For us here, it was just a new report. If you want to do a new quotation, you can go on sales models and just create there and do that. If you want to add like a specific PDF to your quotation, you can use the PDF quote editor, I think it's called. But otherwise, no, you cannot just add other PDF and merge them together. You have to adapt the first PDF or create a new one.
For the question, if you can conditionally edit the footer based on a report, as we said, to apply such a visibility condition, you have to do it directly to the QA view.
Yep.
So if you modify it directly to the report editor, it will be modified for all the report.
So be careful if you use specific field. Okay, I think we have answered that. How to resize PDF document, same way paper format.
Yes.
Is it possible to have different footer for an invoice depending on the product or the customer? Same way, you can use conditional. You have to just be able to target it correctly, and that's like coding in the XML.
Yes.
Well, we never like advise specifically to like develop or do it with Studio. It kind of depends the report that you want. Studio is a tool for adapting customization, so it's not a layout or design tool. If you want a really specific document that is, I don't know, like something 2 centimeters to the right, yes, we will always recommend a development because this will be like really done with code. Otherwise, if you have like simple or you can adapt it from your current document, we can always do it with Studio.
For the chat, it's not possible. Then can I add another report beyond the report?
No,
Or
that's the same as for the quotation. We have the quote builder for which you can do, but it's not a PDF that's like dynamic, so it would be like a fixed PDF. If you want to add that, you need to add extra page to, not extra page, but extra thing into the existing document, for which you could put visibility condition if you don't want it always or something.
or you could put add a page break and continue to edit the report and use related field based on the customer.
Indeed.
Could be an option.
How to order the report in action menu? Well, if you go to the action report menu, action report. Action report. And a report, yeah, sorry. It's going to be based on this, but I don't think that we can just like sequence it. There's something behind it because that's the order that's set, but you would have to like manually change it or something. Okay. For a second? If it's possible to configure different document layout, same thing. You would need to. It's only one header and footer for the whole company. If you want to make change and or have it conditionally based on something, well, you would need to add condition in your view based on the module of the customer and so on. But so this needs to be done through the code.
And adding a column with a sum or an average is not possible on the dynamic table.
You need to like code it yourself as well.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. It's how to get into the code. That's tricky for me. Yeah,
Yes.
XML.
You can access it directly through the view technical menu or with the with Studio as we have already shown.
But as mentioned, if you have tricky formatting to do, maybe a development would be better because you will do the same. And I mean, if it's to go into XML and do like everything in the XML, it's the same as doing a development, right? Can we add a column to report? Sorry. Can we use the report? Oh no. Where are we? Is that true? So we should make a section of the sale order always at the button for always see always a transfer product in a section.
Mm,
To make a thing here, you mean that you want every time that you create a sale order to have a section as the last? This not
mm,
really like report. It's be like a automatization, or if you want in the document to have like kind of a sorting, you can do that, but it would also be in the XML that you need to change the loop that's happening on the dynamic table to sort it in some way. But don't really know.
For the accounting report is different.
Hmm.
We don't have access to Studio to modify them
Yeah. So you could make accounting report, but
for
I think that
invoice.
spreadsheet would be better,
Yeah.
or the real accounting report. But that's more accounting related. Hmm?
There is a specific report engine for accounting which is called financial reports.
Okay, there
So
is
totally for
like a talk. I don't
financial
know.
report for the accounting.
Yeah, there is a financial reports that where you can do and make your own modification, and then you have kind of like you have the age receivable and so on. Just you could create by yourself.
To add a column, we have shown it during the
Hmm.
talk, and to customize the community.
Oh yeah, then it's just XML.
Yeah.
I think it will be gone when I upgrade the module. Yeah, well, here you have a discussion with the person above. How to change if condition in XML, just like the person said. Will you improve QWeb framework for developers or improve the... Well, I think here that like if you want to have a developer, then you will have to like do it through XML. And for the studio editor reports, it's like always a work in progress, and we are trying to do every time it's something better, but it will never be like perfect because, as I mentioned, it's a customization tool. If you want something like the standard report that we have, it's clearly done with a development in standard.
For the library.
Yes, we are currently working on a new solution to replace with the HTML to PDF.
Okay, so we are currently working on a new libraries to replace this.
And to create a report for your participation. Um, yes, if they are registered on Odoo through a website, for example, you could create a report with a table, the name of your attendee, for example, as we have done.
How could serial report letters be implemented? Once again, I don't know what it means. If you
Yeah.
want to have serial reports like stuck to each other, not possible. If you want to do multiple ones, you can create multiple reports. Can we use Studio on Odoo Sage? Yes. Is it recommended? It depends on what you are doing. If you are doing development, then you should check if there is, like, don't use Studio on a model if you know that you are going to do a development afterward on it, because it could impact the development that you are doing. But you can use Studio, just be wise about it and check it with your developer.
If you want to sum the quantities of your product, you would need to first create the computed field, and then you could add that new field on the report,
Yeah.
but you cannot do it
You could
without
you could do
in
it
the
in the
XML.
XML,
Yes.
but then it's, I mean, it's
Mhm.
code, so you would
Yes.
still need to know like how to do this
And it's
computed.
better to create the field before.
Mhm.
It's a best practice.
Will you provide a more traditional invoice order? Well, this is like about standards. I don't really know what, or if you want the design to be changed, like we have the three new design that we have, but currently that's what we have.
WHTML is on
This we mentioned.
progress.
But not
Can we
optimized
add
for
page break? You can add page break, but in the XML.
Yeah.
Okay.
Auto
Have
number,
you
maybe using the sequence field, adding a column with the sequence field.
yes.
sequence here.
Have you provided a way for developer to add a new report? I don't know. We are functional, so you would have to check with
But
developers.
or Studio, as we have done during the talk, maybe.
Okay, I think the person that asking this is the same
Mm.
that asked
Yeah.
the one. To add, so to the new report in the wizard
Developing report of the accounting, the new project.
using. Okay. Okay. Yeah, for the last one, it's better to check with the developers because it's not functional. All right.
Yes, I
Does
think
someone have a last question? It's the moment. It's the time. We will check that. But don't forget that we also have a booth in all seven, so all the way to the end. So you can always come see us this afternoon or tomorrow if you have other question. Can we send the PDF automatically when booking book?
maybe about the
Mhm.
automated action through Studio 2,
Yeah.
but
Yeah, so you could do that, but as Charlotte said, that's automatization. If you have a specific use case, you can also come to the booth and we can check that out together. Oh, there is a talk last year that was really well done on automation. All right. Someone else? Okay.
maybe we can continue to answer question at the booth directly
Yeah.
after.
Awesome. Well, thank you everybody for your attention.
Thank
It
you.
was really nice, and we'll see you soon at the booth if you have extra questions.